October 19th. It's soup time again. This one's going to be a good one today too. National Seafood Bisque Day. Never made a seafood bisque before. And today I'm kind of winging it because I saw a whole bunch of ideas. Obviously this is one with a million variations to it. So I took an idea from here, just grabbed a bunch of ideas, and I'm just going to wing this and see how I do with this today. What the hell, might as well try it. It's fun because when you cook every day, that's the fun thing about following along with the show and trying these recipes and stuff. If you're not a trained chef like me, if you're just a guy who likes to cook and wants to learn other stuff, as you go along, I mean, we've been doing this 9.5 months, 10.5 months, 10.5, no, 9, I don't know, whatever, you do the math. But like you start to learn flavors that go together, and you start to learn basics like how to do your base for a soup, and what kind of seafood you want to use, and it just you get better and better and better, where you will start to take more risks and you'll start to try stuff on your own and add stuff and take away stuff and see a bunch of recipes like we do, and then just pull the best parts out of it, or the most interesting parts out of it. Anyway, our seafood bisque today is going to feature shrimp, mussels, crab, and clams, okay? I'm not going to give you the here's what you need because we're going to talk it through as we go along, okay? There's a bunch of vegetables and stuff, and let's just get started on this one. We got a couple steps to do for this, and then at the end, like we did with our butternut squash soup, we're going to use our immersion blender and puree the whole thing, not the fish, of course. We'll add the fish last, so you'll have some nice chunks of seafood in your seafood bisque, but the base will definitely be pureed down. All right, come right back and let's get started. Okay, so first things first today, we're going to get our broth going first because we're going to do our vegetables in another pan, but we want to get our broth going first. So here I have 5 cups of chicken stock because it's so hard to find seafood stock like in the store where you buy your stock, your chicken stock. I can't find seafood stock anywhere. I'm sure it's out there, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, so we're going to improvise and kind of do our own. So you're going to do 5 cups of chicken stock. Okay, we'll start warming that up there. Now to the chicken stock, I'm going to add, I have clams that I'm using, minced clams, the canned version that comes with in clam juice. So if you get 2 cans of minced clams, you'll get roughly a cup of clam juice out of that. We're going to add that right to our chicken stock. The whole idea is we want to get that seafood taste into our soup, or into our bisque. I mean, that's the whole point. We're going to add this seafood later, but I don't think that's going to add enough flavor at the end for it to go. So that's why we want to do this now and let this all simmer and let all these flavors kind of cook together and hopefully give us. Now you can make a seafood stock from scratch. You absolutely can. If you want to do all that work, go right ahead. I try to do the show in under 15 minutes. So to this now, let me just keep going here because we got a lot of steps to do. To that now, the chicken stock and the clam juice, okay? I took my shrimp, I bought raw shrimp, the cleaned and deveined kind, but it still has the tail and the shells still on it. Easy to remove, okay? So you take all your shells off of your shrimp, put your shrimp off to the side. Now here's all of our shells and tails from the shrimp into our pot, okay? Because we're going to cook this with it, and we're going to infuse that flavor of the shrimp into our broth as well, okay? Don't worry, at the end we're going to take our strainer and strain all that out, so you're not going to be eating soup. We're not pureeing the soup with the shells and the tails. Don't worry. We're just letting this simmer so we can infuse all of that flavor into there, okay? So leave that simmering. Let's get our big pot out now for our veggies because we got to start cooking those down. Okay, to our big pot here, I have 5 tablespoons of butter. Okay, so get those in there. We got our butter melted down there. We're going to add 1 whole chopped white onion. Okay. Maybe a cup of carrots diced up and 1 stalk of celery chopped up as well. Okay. Let's get all our veggies in there, coat them with the butter, and let's just cook these down until they're tender, about 10 minutes, okay? Also forgot to take a couple bay leaves and throw that also into your broth, okay? Because we want that flavor to infuse, but we don't want the bay leaves in our actual soup, and we're not going to puree that down. So that'll be part of something that gets strained out, but the flavor will infuse into that broth, okay? Once you see your vegetables are pretty much tender at this point, after about 10 minutes, I'm going to add a couple cloves of minced garlic, maybe about 2 or 3 cloves, depending on how much you want to add to it. I don't like to add it when I do my vegetables in the beginning, at the beginning when I'm doing all the rest, because sometimes the garlic tends to cook a lot faster than the vegetables do, and it starts to brown and burn before your vegetables are really nice and tender. So in the back here, you can see I have my seafood broth going there. It really is taking on that smell. You can really smell this seafoody kind of smell to it. What I'm going to do is add my mussels to that really quick, just for a couple minutes, because we're getting ready to add this to this in a minute or two. So I just want to cook my mussels really quick and then strain them. We'll come back later and we'll pull all the meat out of the mussels, but I just want to make sure they're opened up and cooked through, okay? So I'm just going to add them to that. That'll add more of that seafoody flavor to our broth, okay? Now, in this pan, back to this pan, we're going to add to this our flour, okay? Because we have all this butter on the bottom here, so that's what we need to make a roux, okay? That'll be our thickener for our bisque today, okay? So you just want to kind of mix about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of flour. I tend to go lighter on it on the tablespoon side, just because soups I've made in the past, I find if you add too much, it becomes too thick, and then when you have leftover soups the next day and you take them out of the fridge, they're all like jelly and congealed-like, because it's just too thick. You know, I want it to kind of be creamy but brothy, okay? Now, to our vegetables, I'm going to add some sherry. So we can deglaze our pan, just a couple tablespoons of cooking sherry, okay? Just to kind of incorporate that into there, that flavor. We're going to add about a half a teaspoon of thyme. Add that to your veggies. Okay, we're just going to mix that all together and stir that around. And then we're going to add a 28-ounce can of chopped tomatoes, or diced tomatoes, whichever you prefer. I don't know if you can find chopped. I think they're all diced, but whatever. Add that to your veggies as well, and let's start heating that up now. Mix that all together. So now, as you can see, our broth is nice and ready here. So what I'm going to do is, try to do this without killing myself here, is start to strain this juice into our bigger pot here, okay? We strain that, see, and there's all my stuff left over in there, my shells, my pink shrimp shells and everything else, okay? Now I'm going to go through, let this kind of cool down for just a minute. I'm going to go through now and pull all of my mussels out of their shells and put them in a separate dish. We'll add them to our soup at the end, okay? So now you have all that broth, the tomatoes, the vegetables, everything in here. You're going to let this cook for about a half hour, okay? Just let it simmer and cook away and reduce a little bit. And we'll be back to add the last couple of ingredients, and then our seafood, and then immersion blend it. Well, we'll immersion blend it, then add our seafood, and then we'll have our bisque for today. It's been simmering for about a half hour now, so everything's good and tender in there. Now, here's where it gets a little wacky, or so we think. We're keeping our fingers crossed on this one. I saw a recipe that I took this idea from. Normally, a bisque soup is a creamy soup, so you would normally add some heavy cream or something like that. Well, I saw a recipe where they actually added a block of cream cheese. And I thought, you know, that's kind of weird but interesting. And I think I'm going to try it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a block of cream cheese without killing ourselves, hopefully. Okay, and we're just going to put that into our mix here and let this melt completely. And about 10 minutes or so. Just let this simmer and let this cream cheese kind of thicken this up and make this a creamy soup. Alrighty? I know, sounds weird, but fingers crossed. I don't know. I think it might be a cool idea. Will it go with seafood? I don't know. Okay, so we're ready to immersion blend this. I'm going to leave it on a very low simmer as I do that, because I want this to keep going, because I got to still cook my shrimp and stuff. The other stuff, the crab, is claw meat, crab meat. It's cooked already. I mean, you can eat it just like that. The clams are pretty much cooked, and you don't want to overcook those. The mussels are cooked from when we did them in the pot. So the shrimp is the only thing that really has to cook. So I just want to leave that for a minute or two. Still simmering, okay? But I'm going to immersion blend all of this to make sure it's a nice smooth puree, okay? As you can see, it's all nice and smooth now. It's all a solid pink color, okay? So now I'm going to add all my other stuff. I'm going to do my shrimp first. I put that in, okay? Like I said, I'm leaving my fire on a low heat here, just like a simmer. I just want this to simmer through, and that'll cook the shrimp, okay? We're going to add our crab meat, our claw meat. You don't have to go really crazy and spend tons of money on like jumbo lump crab for this, because it's a soup and you kind of want it broken up so that way you're getting it. You could get just the jumbo lump crab for, you know, if you want to garnish the top of your soup so you get a real nice bite of the crab, but you're going to get this crab throughout and a nice flavor. Our clams, our minced clams, and our mussels. Now the mussels, same thing. You can use them as a garnish at the end if you want, on the top. You can chop them if you want to. I just put them in whole just to let them kind of, you know, you'll get a nice little surprise on your spoon as you're eating this. Oh my God, it smells so good already. You can smell the seafood and everything else. I can't wait to try this because this idea with the cream cheese, I want to see how this works out. Alrighty? So this is just about ready. We're going to let this simmer for a few minutes, maybe about 5-10 minutes, just to make sure our shrimp is cooked through. And then we're going to plate this up, and we'll be back to try this one today. First time ever, seafood bisque with some different seafood. Be back. Look at this steaming pot of soup here. Now let's see what we got in here. We got some nice seafood in here. Now the only thing that I'm looking at now, the only thing I might do different next time, well, we got to see if we like it first, is I think I would add more seafood. A lot more shrimp and stuff. I mean, because it looks like there's a lot, but not, you know, you kind of want a lot, you know? I mean, but there's a good amount of seafood in here. It's just like the crab and stuff breaks up and whatever, so that's why it's not like you see big chunks. Next time I think I'd just add a ton more shrimp to it, maybe some more mussels and stuff. Okay, but there's one of our shrimp, as you can see, fully cooked. Let's give this a taste today and see how we did with this seafood bisque. Wow, that is really good. You definitely pick up lots of the seafood flavor, and I know that's from doing that stock with the shells and everything. Really grabbed all that, and then throwing all the seafood in at the end really gave it that little extra, especially when you take a bite and you got all this crab meat that's broken up into the soup, so you're getting this crab flavor throughout the soup. The cream cheese thing, let me tell you, really works well. I mean, it's not separating in the soup, it really just brought it all together, just like as if you added heavy cream. But it gives it this little something extra zippy flavor to the soup. Anyway, I love it. Definitely would do this one again. Never did seafood bisque before, but I would definitely do this recipe again. Like I said, the only thing I might do different is if the price of lobster and scallops would come down, I'd throw some of that in here too, but I can't afford lobster and scallops. Scallops are worse than lobster. But anyway, that's our soup for today, everybody. Seafood bisque, it's the fall, it's perfect time, it's orange, it's Halloween, it's October, it screams October, it's orange. Alrighty, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. I think we're